Thank you for joining CU Bands and Fans podcast. Our podcast is brought to you by Homegrown KIO. Homegrown KIO is on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. It is a stellar show featuring the great songs that have come from bands originating in Champaign-Urbana. Listen at 107.9 on your FM dial, at 1079wkio.com, or ask Alexa to play WKIO. Hey everyone, welcome to CU Bands and Fans Podcast Tuesday. Our guest today, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Zach Woodrup for being a co-host on this podcast. Say hey, Zach.
Hi, welcome to the podcast.
Our guest today is The Hangovers. The Hangovers is a band located, where are you guys from?
Decatur is where we formed.
Okay, but where do you guys live? Are you in the Bloomington area?
I'm over in Springfield right now, and you all live here?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when did you guys, now we had you guys at our original artist night, right?
Yes.
That's been some years back. So was that the beginning of your band?
Relatively. I think that would have been about the time when we got the EP. We were like in the process of getting it recorded and released. And so that was kind of to showcase just those songs.
Okay, well, I'm going to bounce a lot off of that here in a minute, but I did forget to say, introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Josh.
What do you play, Josh?
Oh, I play guitar. Yeah.
I'm Mollie, I'm the singer.
I'm Zach. I sing a little bit and then play guitar.
Just a little bit. I'm Sammy. I play the bass.
Awesome. Okay, so back to the beginning of your band. How'd you guys meet?
At Milliken.
Milliken, yep.
So University of.
He was in guitar with me, and then Mollie, we were hanging out in the same kind of friend group, and eventually just kind of meshed, and then we ended up living together, us three. And Mollie knew Sammy, introduced us to him, and when we moved in together and then met him, it kind of just took off, and then the drummer search started.
That's kind of cool because I don't know if you heard of the band Upshot. Sarah Siders and Mank, he's the bass player. But all of them, there was like four of them, and they all lived together. They all lived in this big house, so they would rehearse and everything at the house, and then they would all go do gigs together and everything. It was kind of cool. So you guys, okay, you played our original artist night. You had just become a band. I know you hadn't been a band very long by the time that you played that. You absolutely killed it that night.
Thank you.
And you were recording already?
Yeah, that was I think we were kind of getting prepped to record. I'm not sure exactly where we were in the process, but we were definitely planning on laying down those songs.
So did you form this band to just play gigs or to record music or to do both?
Both.
Definitely both.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about your first album, which was called Planet, right? And can be found on Spotify and iTunes and Apple and all of those.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're on DistroKid also. So, and then their Facebook, I want to say this first. Their Facebook is The Hangovers Band. So find them on Facebook, give them a like and follow them and go and support this band. They're fairly young. I know this is a podcast, you can't really see them, but they're fairly young people, which is very cool, and we really, really welcome that, a fresh, new, young band, especially if you're recording music. And you guys' music, what would you say? What would you consider the genre of your music?
I think psychedelic rock is kind of the foundation that we kind of decided on, but there's definitely plenty of other influences.
So the next question is, what is that?
No, I kind of know what that is, and I definitely listened to your music, but I could tell it was different. It wasn't really rock. It was a little harder than that, but not exactly, like metal.
Right.
Yeah.
kind of somewhere in between. You're all extremely talented, by the way,
Thank
and
you.
your vocals are just outstanding. Yeah. And Zach, I've met you prior to this band because you were in the Zach Dable experience with your dad,
Yep.
right? Okay, and that's where I heard, you play the guitar, which is it's something to see. Like
Thank
everybody really needs to experience that. What was that like playing? And do you still play with your dad in your dad's band?
Yeah, we do a little bit here and there. It's definitely backed off since we've kind of ramped up and got our things going. And I would say we probably play together maybe still twice a month or so. So it's still fairly common. And we've actually started a new group doing some country stuff with a Colton Taylor.
I seen that. Yeah, I seen that on Facebook. I was like, "What's this?" Yeah.
So that's kind of, it's kind of a spin-off, still kind of the same core group, but yeah, a little bit different set.
So how did you get your? I mean, is that where you got your interest in music or playing the guitar?
I've just kind of always been interested since I was a little guy, and I'd always hear my dad playing 80s hair metal in the car, and we'd be listening to rock. And
Your
then my
dad
mom,
played a wait. We're talking about Zach Dable here. Your dad played 80s metal?
okay, I thought you meant how did I get my interest in music, but he kind of tried to back in the day, but yeah, mostly like just listening to that is what kind of really got me like, I need to play guitar. I have to do this. I have to sound
Yeah.
like those guys. So
So you're talking about the radio. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So you played in that band for a while, and then when did you know when you were going to go off to college that hey, you're going to start your own?
I kind of figured something would happen. I guess I wasn't necessarily like seeking it out, but I figured that I would definitely meet some people and make some connections that something would happen, and it did.
Yeah, like where did you record first of all?
We record at the Milliken studio.
Oh, you did.
Mhm.
Wow, that's awesome. So did that cost you?
I think as students,
no.
I think yeah, as students we just paid the engineer and to mix and record us. I don't think we actually had to book like and pay for the studio itself.
Man, that's great.
It was
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
You're still-
Yeah, there's some fantastic studios around, but still, it can get really pricey. And how many was that a single Planet or no? Your single just came out, so this was not a single. How many songs was on this one?
Uh, yeah.
5. Wow, that's impressive. All original?
Yes.
That's really impressive. And do you guys do all originals, or do you ever do covers?
We do covers.
We
Yeah.
throw some covers in there, yeah.
Some ones we love.
Let's talk about your vocals for a minute. Because really outstanding, truly outstanding. How long have you? And you're so young to have that kind of, powerful vocals. Where did that come from?
I started singing probably when I was like 3 or 4. I would just walk around. My mom would take me to the hair salon and I'd stand up on the table and I'd sing nursery rhymes at the top of my lungs, like as loud as I could.
That's adorable.
And then eventually she was like, maybe I should put her in voice lessons. So then I started doing that, and I did a lot of theater growing up as well. And then like after middle school, high school, I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. And I kind of was in a few bands in high school that were like, just for fun, just for fun. And then I was like, this is actually really what I want to do. So I ended up coming to Milliken for commercial music, and that's where I met them. And then we started playing together. And that's where I kind of got more into like my belty high range was more in college. And when I worked with my voice teacher here as well, she really helped me to perfect that more, I think, than I had ever done before. But
Yeah, it's pretty outstanding. It totally just amazing. Anyway, you guys play a lot of gigs out of our area. Have you played any gigs here?
It's been a while since we played at Sydney. I'm not really sure when the last time we did. We played there probably only twice, 2 or 3 times. But I would say our most regular spot over in that area is One T's Corner Pocket.
Oh
We've been
yeah,
there
he's so
about
good about having live
2, 3
music.
months. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Scott Grapp. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, and I want each of you to answer individually. And how do you manage your schedule with school, a band, practice, and recording?
Oh, carefully.
I'll let you school people do that one.
Yeah.
I'll go since I'm still enrolled here. Yeah, schedules were crazy, especially when we were all in college at the same time, trying to find time to practice. We hardly practice very much after you guys stopped living together.
Yeah.
Especially when we didn't have a drummer. Trying to have a practice
Yeah,
without
yeah.
drummers was almost impossible
It was really tough.
during COVID.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah, during COVID was,
we probably
yeah.
got together only
When we could.
once every 2 weeks or so. And even then it would be very, very short. Like we would probably work on 1 or 2 songs maybe for like 2 hours at the most. And by that point we were all just exhausted and ready to
I'm always working like
go
7
relax.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, being committed to a band and practicing, and then on top of that, I mean, you guys, I think for as young as you are and like coming out, you're fairly a new band to be recording so soon. That says a lot about you and your commitment to your music, and especially doing original music. When do you have the time to come up with your own music? Who writes this? Who writes? What's the input here?
It's a good group effort.
Yeah, we get together about once a week, try to practice or write some stuff.
Usually like Josh or I will get like one little part of a song, like one little section, like got a verse, or I have a chorus, I have like here's 4 chords that I put together that sound pretty nice, and then from that we all just start spitballing and see where it goes and think of different ideas, and then she'll start throwing some lyrics over it, and we'll just kind of jam for a bit while she gets a melody in her head and kind of thinks of how she wants to phrase it and whatnot. So
yeah, Mollie is really awesome about coming up with things on the spot.
I like it.
Yeah, you're
We love it.
yeah, to be that well blended together and to be able to do that, you're pretty lucky that you found each other. Because a lot of bands just like they can't or they won't. But to be able to go, hey, I've got this, and then the next person adds to it and adds to it. It's kind of like, I don't know if you know this band or not, because it was back in my day, but kind of like Fleetwood Mac. That's exactly how they rolled. They were good. They were friends. Some of them had relationships and all that stuff going on in the middle of it, but they always blended very well when it came to getting their music, writing it, and putting it out there. So it reminds me a little bit of that.
that's a good
Which
thing.
is,
Yeah.
and it's kind of rare now also in our community. There's been a lot more recording due to COVID. A lot more new bands have risen, and a lot of the older bands have either dispersed or changed members. There's a lot of changes that happen during that period of time, and some of it's been really fantastic because it's made musicians just get to the to the heart of it. They've had that seclusion and that time, so it's been cool how much music has come out of the COVID years, the 2 years that we were struggling with that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So
Crisis.
your newest single, talk about that, The Creek.
Creek. So funny story, the Creek, Josh and I were in a band our freshman year prior to the Hangovers, and we had a song called The River. And so basically we just took 2 chords from that song, changed them, and then put in a third different chord. And that kind of became the foundation of the Creek. And while playing it, I just decided to take off really fast one time and make it kind of that funky, quick feel.
Yeah,
And from that, I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And so then we sat down together and wrote the rest of that song. And I think the breakdown idea where we had the wahs and everything going, that was just kind of like a on the spot thing. And we just kind of started riffing. We're like, we just got to do something kind of simple, but that hits.
intense.
So
Yeah. I thought it was, I thought it was kind of intense. So you could tell you guys were just like, just getting it, and it's very cool. And now can your music be purchased?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, cool. So if they went to DistroKid, your all of your links are there, correct? So they could go to like Apple or iTunes or whatever, and then purchase it.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. And do you have CDs or no?
we do for the EP, but we don't have any CDs of the single.
Yeah. So Josh,
Yeah.
where'd you learn to play?
I'm from Princeton, Illinois, and which is like kind of close to Peoria, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And, well, actually, I took guitar lessons when I was, I think, like 12 or 13, acoustic guitar lessons, and I just wasn't interested in it at the time. So I think I only took it for like maybe 3 or 4 months, and then I tried again. I think was it at the end of freshman year, like over the summer, or the end of like freshman year of high school. Over summer, I used some of my leftover graduation money and bought an amp and electric guitar, and then just looked at YouTube videos and like taught myself for a bit. And then from there, I decided I wanted to go to like Milliken and do music stuff. So I think the summer of my senior year in high school is when I took lessons to learn more like just like what the actual notes are that I'm playing and more like solo and whatnot, rather than just playing somebody else's songs, stuff like that. Because I was worried about like getting in. I still had an audition for Milliken, which was no problem when I eventually took it. But that's pretty much how I started. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sammy, how did you get started?
Oh, how did I get started?
Yep.
I was about 10. My older brother played bass because our dad played guitar, and I was always doing music around the house. So I started playing bass, and then he quit, but I kept going. So I was
Awesome.
I started playing on upright bass, and then like the schoolwork orchestra, and then I got into jazz eventually. I started playing the electric bass. I was always into classic rock, so
Oh my God.
I started learning all my favorite songs on electric bass, and yeah, started discovering this is what I want to do. Came to Milliken, met these cats.
And there you are, recording music, doing your own music. What's you guys' goals? I think because you're all in school. Or did you graduate, Zach?
Yeah, us 2 have graduated, and the outside 2 are still in.
Oh, well, congratulations. So what are you guys doing with that? What are you doing outside of this, outside of music?
Well, I was gonna say I have a job at a recording studio, but it's still kind of music.
Yeah. But I mean, what did you go to school for? What did you do?
Music.
What did you graduate with?
Commercial music, so primarily engineering, and it was kind of a mix almost of like performance-based stuff as well as learning the ins and outs of the studio and how to record and engineer and mix and all that good stuff.
So is your plan to have a recording studio, or?
I think it'd be really cool to have one day, yeah. Probably not in the near future, but that one day it would be pretty nice to have a little home studio with some really good gear in it.
Yeah, that would be great. What about you? What'd you graduate with? What degree?
I got the same degree.
You get a second one.
Oh, I also got a music business degree, I guess.
Yes.
I almost forgot. Oh yeah, that one degree I got.
I
The
got
one
two
that Zach
degrees.
dropped.
The one that Zach dropped.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of different things. They always make fun of me because I work like 7 jobs. So I'm a barista, I'm a yoga teacher, I do some engineering here and there. I kind of just, oh yeah, I teach lessons, voice lessons. I just do a little bit of everything on top of
What do you have the time? My God.
I
That's
don't
what I
know.
want.
I drink a lot of caffeine.
Yeah. Well, good for you. You know, it's like you're doing all these things that you enjoy, and you're helping other people get started as well. So that's really fantastic. Now, did your parents sing at all, or
No.
it was just something you just started to do when you were a kid?
Yeah, I come from a family that's really athletic and into sports, like really hardcore. So I'm the odd one out by far. I think it was good though for me because they're so hardcore with sports. They didn't know anything about music, so I could kind of just do my own thing. And I think that kind of helped me flourish in it because they were all like sports, sports, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna
No, music. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic. So does all of each of you, I know Zach's does, but does your family show up and support you at gigs and that kind of thing?
Once in a while.
Yeah.
When they're nearby.
Yeah, when they're nearby, or if we have really cool shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and where was the first place you guys played live?
Nice. Right?
Donnie's?
No,
Or
actually it
maybe a
was.
house.
Yeah, it was Alex's
Someone's
house.
It was an
Someone's house.
interesting start. I'm pretty sure the first gig we ever had,
You weren't there.
I
Yeah, you
wasn't
weren't
there, and it was a house party up near Chicago area. And then I think
The next show was Jake's.
the second
yeah.
show
This was
we
our show,
had,
because we didn't get to
we got
play.
like halfway through the first song, and
The
then the
cops
host
came.
comes up and he's like, "Everybody get out! Someone stole my dad's beer." And so everybody got out, and then we just ended up hanging out for the night. So it really wasn't a gig. And then and then the person who kicked everybody out after that show became our drummer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
forgot.
And I believe it was,
Wait a minute, guys. There you go. Go ahead.
so I
Go
guess
ahead.
the first full gig would have been Don's on Pizza here at Milliken.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's funny. That's a great story. And why weren't you there at the first one?
I think I had already had a show with the Zach Dable Experience, and it was like, we'd scheduled with a venue, whereas this was like a thrown together house party, and so it was figured I'd take the more committed one. And
Yeah, you got to go with your commitments, especially with, bands and gigs and that kind of stuff.
Party together like in a week.
Yeah.
So where was your second one? When's the first time that you played in like a bar or a venue or?
I think late fall of 2018,
Yeah.
that would have been the first one at Donnie's, and
It was,
that was like when gigs were pretty sparse. Like we'd play here and there, probably only like once every two months or so, maybe a little more often, but not really.
maybe 1 month. Maybe.
Were you nervous?
I wasn't.
Maybe a little bit, just because it's like, our debut, and it's like the first times we're really playing these songs out to people. But from a performance standpoint, not so much. And that was probably
But
just,
you had a lot of experience of already, being in front of people and all that kind of stuff. But what about the rest of you? Well, you were in theater and that kind of stuff, and I guess you guys wouldn't be.
Theater and bands and a bunch of stuff since I was young. So, and show choirs, everything. So I wasn't really too nervous.
So what's your favorite place that you played so far?
Reggie's. Reggie's Rock Club in Chicago.
I'll have to say.
What's it called?
Devon's cool too.
Yeah.
the first place he said was Reggie's Rock Club. That was a multi-band event up in Chicago. It was like one of those deals where you get tickets and there's just like 15 different bands. So everybody hops on for like a 35-minute set and it's just go, 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 you know?
How did you get connected into that?
I think someone just reached out to us and
Right.
it was just like, hey, we saw your band and we're wondering if you want to perform in the showcase. We're like, definitely, let's do it.
We'll be there. Chicago, here we come. Did you guys have like I watch a lot of documentaries on bands and touring, and just like I watched this one the other day, and they bought this van, for like $500.
Nice.
And this whole story of this band with this van, $500 van, which left them stranded on the side of the road, by the way. They ended up having to send 2 band members home and having the van towed, then left the van in this parking lot because they were like, we're done with that. And 2 of them made it to the gig. The other 2 they sent home, and they came back with no van or anything because that was like they made no money. They made 0 money on that gig. But I love to watch that kind of stuff. It just kind of reminded me a little bit of that. Not that you had that experience, but just like, yeah, let's go. And it's just the enthusiasm of you guys being young is what's so great, because you've got this energy, you've got a great vibe, and it's fun to talk to you guys. It's fun to watch you guys on having a gig and the live that you guys have went live before, haven't you?
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I know WKIO had you guys' music on. Classic Rock WKIO 107.9, which does the homegrown KIO show Sundays at 7. We'll give them a plug. But yeah, I heard you guys' music on there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was really cool. And they're going to, I think, do that a little more often. They play more of the bands that originated from Champaign and have recorded here, like at, the Red Lion, which was a big, huge deal back in our day, and Mabel's and that kind of thing, where you guys know that REO and Head East and all those came from here, right? You guys do know that. Okay.
Right.
So where would be your favorite, where do you guys want to play that you haven't yet, but you would like to?
I think one place that would be really cool would be the Canopy Club. That's one place we really wanted to get into and open up for some bigger acts, but just really haven't gotten connected with anybody from there. So
What's the club in Peoria? Like the Blue Room or something? What's that club in Peoria we're trying to get into? No, the one that's like, never mind.
Canopy Club. That'd be a really good fit for you.
yeah, hopefully.
So
we
if
get-
you guys could open until you're big enough to where you have someone opening for you, that if you guys could open for anyone, any genre, any national artist, who would it be? Who would you want to open for?
what you guys got?
You have
I think Greta Van Fleet would be cool.
kind
Oh
of-
God, yeah. Yeah, good answer. Ha, that's awesome. Huh.
I think like Fleetwood Mac or something like that.
Yeah, you guys, I would love to see you guys together with Fleetwood Mac. I think that would be just amazing, because I think that, I don't know, there's just like this whole kind of same, but I mean, just that you're just like these friends that like, just blend together so well. And I think it would be so, even if you got to just like hang out and meet them and have this conversation. I would love to be there for that, by the way, if that ever happens.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't, I mean, that would be just like, that would be so cool. Do you guys have a hard time booking gigs?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I think it's more of just the problem lies with getting to like expanding out into new different markets. Like we've been trying to kind of get over we've been trying to kind of hit like the bigger cities surrounding us, like Chicago, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and we've only had one show in St. Louis, and we have another one that we just booked probably a couple weeks ago, and then we had another one that was in like Illinois suburb of St. Louis, and that's really all that we've had there. And then Chicago's been really tough. I think we've only had that one Reggie show, and that would have been like coming out of the school year, like 2019, so like that spring. So we were still very early stages,
Summer.
and
Would you
then
play
we had-
would you play the U of I stadium? Like for games, they had homecoming and stuff. They have the stages outside before you go into the game. Would you guys play one of those?
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds sick.
That'd be great. 'Cause, yeah, we've also been wanting to kind of reach out to those college markets and play. I saw another band from around Springfield. They played the homecoming for, I think, SIUE, and it looked like it was a great time, and there was a good turnout, and it's like one of those outside big stage, lots of vendors around, that kind of deal. So
Yeah, and I think that you're being young and because generally speaking, just because we've been doing this for 10 years, so generally speaking, the live music fan audience is older, and it's mostly I must say 35 to 65 that's the live music fan base, and we know because we see the stats and that kind of a thing, and we just know, we always wanted to like get younger people, even them having the knowledge that there's live music, because you're nodding because you know exactly what I'm saying. They tend to want to go to these sports bars or to these bars where you could just like stand around and talk, and eat and have whatever and drink and that kind of a thing, which is fine. But it's like they're not even aware that live music happens. And that's so bothersome to me. I don't know. That's why we were going to build an app, is because, younger people love the apps, and younger people are, yeah. And they're not really on Facebook as much as like, I mean, you guys are, because you're doing, music and that kind of a thing. But it is really an older generation that's on Facebook, and it's the older generation that was raised with live music. I mean, Champaign-Urbana was nothing but live music. It was on campus. There wasn't a bar on campus that did not have live music. So we were raised that way. But your generation, the younger people, are more technology and videos and games and that kind of thing. I just don't think they're that aware that these events are happening.
Go to the bar, it's just the radio, Pandora.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
definitely.
Yeah, so you guys playing at like some colleges and some campus towns, that would be brilliant. We would support you 100%.
We've had a
That would be
few
so
parties
brilliant.
in the area.
Yeah, the crowd's definitely pretty good. It's just you gotta find that very specific group of people that are willing to be there, and they're going crazy, and
Yeah.
they don't really care about anything besides watching you and just dancing.
Yeah, just dancing and, into it, and yeah.
But
Yeah. And I think once they, experience that, they're kind of hooked after that,
Pretty
you
much.
know.
Our experience.
So yeah, I would absolutely support you guys playing and, bringing some younger audiences and fans. That would be fantastic, because
I don't know if there's any bars on campus that have live music now.
Back when I was growing up there, you could not go into a bar that did not have live music. And that's why we got REO, and that's why we have Head East and all of those bands, because of that. So now it's not like that anymore. So I don't know. I'd sure like to see it though. I think you guys would be the ones to do it. Help do it.
There should be
Hopefully.
more live music bars.
Yeah.
Music.
So what would be the best way? I always talk about distributing. Once your music's done, recorded, you guys are the ones that distribute it, right? Like you get it on the platforms.
Yeah.
Do you still think, because you are young, that's why I'm asking you this, because you're young, you're doing your own music, and you're getting it on all the platforms. Do you feel like there'd be a better way, or no, to distribute music?
I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot of better ways than doing it yourself, trying to give it to someone else to do it for you. Like a record company just brings about problems.
Yeah.
That's
They
why-
used to have to, have somebody to do that for them, because you had to put all that stuff in the mail
Yeah, absolutely. I think
with,
it's,
with real pictures and of the band and all that kind of stuff. So, and who does your photos, by the way? Your cover photo is awesome. I love it.
My friend Creighton actually did for the Creek. I've known him since I was little. I actually grew up doing theater with him, and he's an amazing artist. So we asked him to do it, and he did a fantastic job. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really great. So what else you got going on? What else do you want to have going on?
So the biggest thing we have going on right now is we are planning a tour right now and kind of trying to iron out some details. We have a show that we're basing everything around in Houston, and it's the Reggie show that I talked about. It was a band we met there that was from Texas.
Everglades.
Yeah, they're
Shout
called
out.
Everglades, and so one of their members does a lot of booking, and he got us on this event, and that is at the BFE Rock Club in Houston. So we are trying to take about a week before that, and hit venues on the way down. We've got a good couple lined up on the way down, and then hopefully so we'll probably go down towards the east a little bit and then wrap to Houston and probably come back up a little more west. And that we're hoping to find some shows throughout Texas and Oklahoma, that kind of area. So we're in the middle of planning all that out and booking that right now. And it's coming up kind of quick, so we need to get some details figured out soon.
When are you doing this?
So we would leave,
The end of this month.
yeah, May
Oh my God.
31st.
Wow. That's exciting. When you said that you're planning a tour, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, let's stop everything. Let's talk about this. I wish I could go and document this, because I think I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to send you, when we get done with this, I'm going to send you that little documentary that I watched of these different bands that toured. I mean, it was just so real, is what gets me about it. And it's not like a fancied up documentary or anything. It's just really real musicians and their real experiences, and what a tour is and why they chose to tour and that kind of thing. So I think it's so exciting, and you guys I hope that you guys get your cell phones out and that you document some of these moments. Like, on the road, when you're going into the gas station to grab a soda or whatever, document all of it. Man, I would love to. I hope that you guys even go live sometimes through this. I would love to see that.
We should, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you get this organized and completely solid, booked, dates, where you're going to be and that kind of thing, let us know because we want to definitely share that. And I am telling you, if I'm like really excited about that. So like, if you guys even went live just a little bit, I'm telling you, I would put that on our page, and I would be like, you got to follow this. You know, this band is this is their first tour, and you know, da 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 da. Let's make a thing of it.
Yeah,
let's
we'll
do
make
it.
sure that we do. I am horrible myself about social media and, you know, taking pictures in general. So I'll need to make sure that I remember to, you know, pull out the phone a little bit more.
Yeah, even the littlest things, you know, or if there's somebody that's going with you that's, you know, can like do that, because it would be so. I swear to God, if I was younger, I'd be like, I'm going. So if I didn't have so much stuff to do here, I'd be like, I want to document this. This will be, yeah, I love that. So that's you got a lot to do then to get ready for that.
Yes.
So how long are you going to be gone?
2
About 2 weeks.
Close to 2 weeks, yeah.
Holy cow. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm really excited. Really excited for you guys about
Lucky
that.
number, right.
What's this other band like?
They're cool. I don't really remember them very much. It's been like 2 years to play with them.
Yeah, they're like.
So are you touring with them?
No, we're just
No.
playing
Okay.
the one show with them. We're trying to link up with some bands along the way that are local to the area.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, they were just they just gave us a reason to do it.
Oh, to do it. Yeah.
Come down,
Okay.
like,
Come down
why
Houston.
go down all the way? Like, I didn't realize how far south Houston was.
Houston's like basically on the
And
Gulf.
it's way down there, and I'm like thinking, like, you gotta make it worth it more than just going down to Houston, play one show and come all the way home. So
To hold us some places all the way through. Oh my God. So when are you playing with that one band though?
that's
June 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're leaving May 31st
mhm,
and you're gonna like play with them on June 4th in Houston,
yes.
right? Okay. So on the way there you're wanting some gigs, and on the way back you're wanting some gigs.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Okay.
The way there, we've got a couple lined up. But the way back, we've still got a good amount to fill up. And it's kind of like we've got the weekends, the 2 weekends are booked. So it'll really just be filling that second, like during the week, Monday through Friday.
What are you driving there? Are you all taking one?
We're not too sure of details on that
We
yet.
have some
I got a $500 van I could sell you.
I got a van.
We got a great, maybe a camper.
Yeah, his parents got
Yeah,
a camper or
we've
something.
talked about maybe renting out something bigger like a motorhome or a camper. I believe my dad is bringing the trailer with all the gear, so that'll help free up a lot of space that we can probably squeeze into maybe just like 2 vehicles for the trip. But yeah, definitely need to think about it and get into some details and look at like what gets better mileage and has more storage space and all that good stuff.
So is your dad going?
Yeah, he's coming along and he's bringing the gear for when we do need it, and
He's
then
the
he'll be
gear
a
guy.
fan when we don't.
Yeah, that's great. Really. That's great to have that with you. So man, that's just I wish I could go. Seriously, but of the music that you've recorded, what's y'all's favorite?
I like the new one, The Creek.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
favorite too.
The Creek's good.
I think
Oh,
it's
you're all-
kind of just like we were really young still when we recorded that first one, and I wouldn't say we did too much thought into it like production wise. We just kind of ran it down, and then we did a little bit of production talk after the fact. But I would say The Creek was the first one we really started thinking of adding in different things, and instead of just being like, you know, 2 guitars, bass and drums and singing going the whole time. So the person who mixed it, Andrew Moody, who is awesome at everything he does. He gives me like all my engineering knowledge. He
Will be moved.
he
Nice.
he like put in that kind of radio static at the start of the song because I had just wanted a filter on the guitar, and he put in the static too, and I was like, that sounds really good.
Yeah, that
And
works.
he kind of helped make the like the warped waviness at the end. That was him, and
Yes, that section was.
So,
all
yeah.
our
I feel like
hands until
vocals
then.
wise, harmonies too, we really sat down, like Zach and I were in the studio for like a long time working on harmonies for that.
yeah.
And the one like section where it drops off, there's like, how many different parts do we put on that?
It's either 3 and 4 back and forth or 4 and 4 back and
Yeah.
forth. So a lot of tracks.
Oh my God. How long did it take you to record that?
Well, we've tried to record it, I think, 2 times previously, and those were both not good.
Yeah.
And so it did take
I know,
a
right?
while to finally get to like that final, like, all right, like we're recording this now. We've got it down. We got good tones. We've got the whole feel down. It sounds better. And but I would say it took a little bit because we did need to go back and redo some stuff. And solos took a while to like coordinate the time to get together and do those. So I would say it probably took about a month overall to get it finished and released.
Well, that's not bad. You know,
Mm.
I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure
a
you
lot
recorded
longer.
shorter time with
I think
yeah.
Time that we started recording it the first time, and then
Like,
like
we're not
got
gonna-
stopped and then started again. It's probably like a year.
Yeah.
Zach and Molly, I've noticed that the two of you have done some duo shows
Mhm.
as well as with the band. I was curious, is it any easier to get those than with the band? Because there's a few venues in town here where 2 or 3 people fit, but if you try to get more than that people on their stage, they don't. So I was wondering if there's venues that are like that.
Yeah, it's not been too difficult finding shows like that. We found a few in Springfield, and some of them seem to be like, yeah, we'll have you guys as a duo, and we'll kind of introduce you and see how it goes, and we'll see if anybody likes it, if it's a good fit. And it's almost kind of like the audition to get the full band there. So
Yeah, because do you feel like, I mean, do you feel kind of bad if it's just like you and Molly going and doing a gig and the other guys aren't? Is there any?
I mean, yeah, sometimes, but it's also kind of like it's not like too much in our control, like if they
Right.
wanted a duo, like you kind of have to give them what they want because they're the
Yeah.
one paying you. So
Yeah, and plus a lot of venues have that, like the earlier shows, and which is, more, more appropriate. So when you're doing your duo, do you do your own music, or are you doing covers?
yeah, well, so we do some of the same covers that we do with the band, but we do have to take out some that are like really guitar driven because I mean, then you'll just hear me playing a riff alone with nothing else going on.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
We do, yeah, I'd say for the covers, we kind of do a little bit of a different group of songs, but we still do as much original stuff as we can.
Which brought me to another question is, when you are playing those gigs, are you doing some covers too?
Yeah.
Are you? What do you
Yeah, I'd
like?
say-
What, give me an example. What songs do you do that are
The duo or like the full band?
the full?
One of the cool covers we do is we do Whole Lotta Love into Voodoo Child. I think that's one of our most popular covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always catches
Yeah,
on.
that's crazy.
And then the transition from Whole Lotta Love to Voodoo Child is actually the War Pigs riff. So it's a nice little classic rock mashup there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the newer covers we do, newer. I say newer, it's not that new, but we do Toxic by Britney Spears, and we really rock it up. And that one's really fun when it.
Well, I think I'd like to hear you do that one. Yeah, so you mix your originals with some covers. And do you do like 4-hour shows?
Do
Three.
sometimes,
Sometimes,
yeah.
usually 3, but yeah.
Played 4 hours before,
But yeah, we play 4 hours.
a few
Yeah.
times.
And I mean, you got enough material to do
It
4.
always feels like a new achievement when you
Yeah.
get like 3 hours and then 4 hours.
Yeah. They just like around here, there's very, I don't know, Zach, what do you think? There's very few times that they do like a, well, on weekends, that they do like an 8 to midnight or a 9 to 1, but that's not as frequent as it used to be.
They're shifting to earlier shows. A lot of places are doing that, except for the Rose Bowl. They'll have one at 4 to 6, one 6 to 8, and then one to 9 to 12. But I think they're the only people that are doing that sort of thing.
Yeah. And then the parking lot parties, of course, they get done at, they have to get done at a certain time, but
So they'll
yeah.
have the later shows indoors. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys want to play anywhere else? I mean, do you want to play in Champaign-Urbana?
Yeah, we wouldn't mind getting some
Because
more
you
venues.
seem to have quite a few gigs where you're at. I mean, you guys aren't doing too bad with having some gigs.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely ready just to kind of expand more, and
Yeah,
I think
a lot
kind of
on the
the
walls.
I think kind of the main plan is to try and start getting out of state more and just tap into new markets of more than just the kind of big belt of Central Illinois we've hit so far.
Right. Yeah. Well, and you mentioned Indiana earlier. Indiana's got they've got a nice music scene there. Oh, and Danville actually they're pretty, Danville's pretty active music wise. You should connect with, there's some people I'm just gonna connect you with.
Sounds good.
I will just do that when we get off of here. I'm gonna send you some names. And yeah, you just start connecting with these people that are all around us. And they can get you connected into more things and festivals and events and things like that.
I'd like to start transitioning to more like concerts and events, and definitely hope to get on some festivals before too long.
That'd be cool.
We've reached out to a couple, and then there was another one in Springfield I was going to reach out to, but then it was going to conflict with the tour, so I just didn't bother. But it's been tough to get responses from them, and I'm sure they have more than enough submissions, so I assume it would be. But
yeah, but you got to keep trying. When you do this, do you do this via email? And are you the one that does this, that does the reaching out and okay, so do you do it email, message, how do you do this?
usually an email, and I would say I think Facebook is kind of like the second main option. And if I do have a phone number or a name, I will call or text. Just kind of I'll call first and then text afterwards, and kind of just see what they prefer. But I usually start with the email or Facebook.
I'm just always been curious about that. Like, what's your approach? Like, what do you say? Hey, we're, the Hangovers, and, we play this kind of music. We'd like to play at your venue. How do you?
Yeah, just kind of introduce it like that.
It's a little weird at first.
We recently we made a electronic press kit, and so it's a nice flyer, and it looks very professional, and it's got a cool design on the back, or
You got all your links
up
on there.
top.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's linked with everything that you could need. It's got some news stories, it's got our Spotify, socials, all that good stuff.
Some videos.
Yeah, videos. I do know this much. Videos are important. They
Yeah.
do want to see videos. They want to hear them. They want to look at everything. It's very important because we started a new website. It's Look Before You Book, where we have all these different bands in one space. So if somebody, and you can tag, like let's say they're looking for original rock band or whatever, they can hit the tag original rock band, and if you guys fit that category, you would come up. And then they could go to video right there, they could call you right there, they can email you from there, and they can go to all your music sites. So we're just now building it, but it's amazing. And it's a relief for us because we get asked so much almost every day. Hey, is there a band that could play this? Hey, is there a band? Do you know of a band that plays this kind of music? Or we need a band for this event or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I know the perfect band that you're looking for, but I have to go to their Facebook, grab that link, get their information, get their phone number, get their email, which a lot of bands don't fill that out. And they're about on Facebook, I found out, which is frustrating. So I have to go and feed this information to this person, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? We're just going to put this all on one site. And I'm not going to do that anymore. They can do that. They can go right to that band's page. They can call them right from that website. They can see a video right on that website. So, So I was just curious about how you approach. I don't think I've ever asked a band that. Like, what's your approach? What do you say? What are you sending them?
Yeah, definitely with the tour, we were reaching out to countless lists of venue. You just, like, I would literally just search like Memphis music venues, and there would just be 6 pages of venues. And I start going down the list and find whatever contact I could, and for that, I had made a little template email, and
Kind of just send it.
kind of copy and paste, and just filled in the little specifics and added the EPK attachment, and it was just kind of like, hey, we're a touring band. We have a show down in Houston that we're basing this tour around. We'd love to hit your place around this date. Here's our stuff. You can take a look at it. If you have any questions, let me know.
It's been good having you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. We appreciate it.
It's been fun. So we're going to let you go, but we will, for our listeners, we will be having their music on this podcast in the beginning and then again on the end. Be sure and check them out. It is Facebook/The Hangovers Band.
Look down in the reflection below. Who do you see? What do you know? Have you been screaming to be let free? Do you accept all that you hear and see? Goodbye with the ugly lies. Good night to the self-demise. Out of the ashes we will rise. Thank